like a threat. Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger. I'm a threat. I'm a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's a bet. It's a bet. You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your neck. Take my word for it, it's a promise and a threat. Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger. I'm a threat. I'm a
That's you, Alexis.
What's up?
Oh, sorry. I was a little slow there on the.
Oh, you know
screen.
what? No, you know it's my fault. I forgot to play the the Marvel intro or whatever. So that
I was like, wait, isn't there something else that you're supposed to?
No, yeah, sorry about that.
Wow, folks, I get to moderate my first podcast, and then Jeff screws me up. Of course,
it'll be perfect until from here on out.
Naturally. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the MCU's Bleeding Edge. I am Alexis, founder of Honeysuckle Rose Creations, frequent collaborator on this and the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. And going to go ahead and introduce our fellow players. We're still waiting for one or two guys to show up. I don't know. We're getting some snowstorms here in the United States, so maybe they're just, dealing with the nasty weather out there. Who knows? All right, so over to that side, pointing in the right direction. We've got our regular host of the MCU's Bleeding Edge, Jeff. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, Alexis? Thank you for moderating.
Not a problem. Glad to give it a try for once. And below me, we, of course, got Andrew, who I need to pull up my notes here, staff writer for Geek News Now Network. Andrew, how are you doing?
I don't know if it's coming through. I'm a little under the weather, but I wasn't gonna bail on Jeff. So
he's a trooper. He's a trooper.
He is a trooper. I was gonna say, is it just a cold, or we've been hearing it's not the you know what?
I got tested today. I did the rapid test. I got it from the pharmacy because I was like, do I have it? And no, it's just a regular cold.
Okay, yeah. It's always fun when you wake up nowadays and it's like, normally it's like, oh, I got a little sore throat and a stuffy nose. I just got a cold. And now, of course, it's like, I got a sore throat and a stuffy nose. Do I have to go to the ER?
Yeah.
We're all too panicking. And of course, there, got the pointing right. The figurehead that currently looks like Kane the Conqueror, that is Jeff Bowman. Jeff is a longtime comic book collector and frequent guest on the show. Jeff, can you hear us loud and clear?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
All right. And how have you been doing, man?
I'm doing good. Y'all doing all right?
Yes.
So far, so good. I meant to ask, your center, what you're using for your face there, that is obviously really good fan art of Jonathan Majors as King the Conqueror. Where did you find that? Is that a DeviantArt thing, or?
What's that now?
Your image that you're using for your screen. It's Jonathan Majors, who will be playing as King the Conqueror.
It's the image off of the T-shirt from the movie set.
Okay, because I saw a picture. Oh my god, it was like a reflection of the T-shirt, but I couldn't see the image well enough. It was obviously supposed to be Kang, but it was so blurry and so low res.
Yeah, I had to remaster it like 20 times to get it down like it is now.
Yeah, that picture of him was just like, wow, that's obviously when you make something that low res, it's extra terrifying.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting on, like I said, one or two people to join us. Thank you, Cleo. Of course, I got my dogs here who will be interrupting the show as they always do. But we're going to go ahead and pick up where we left off with last week's show, which we had to cut on the grounds that nobody was going to continue listening to us for that long, not without, losing their sanity. I think we're going to start off with Jeff. You wanted to play some trailers to start things off before we resume our countdown?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's
Thank
go
you,
ahead
Alexis.
and take it.
Heavenly shades of night are falling. It's twilight time.
Wonder and Vision, aren't we a five-pair?
This is our home now. I want us to fit in.
Oh, this is gonna be a gas!
Where did you two move from? How long have you been married? And why don't you have children yet?
Our story.
I think what my wife means to say is that we moved from...
Moved from where? Married when? Damn it, why?
Oh, Arthur, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Deep in the dark, darkest will
Is this really happening?
like days of old, lighting the spark of love that fills me with the rays of hope.
Am I dead?
No. Why would you think that?
Because you are.
Each day I pray for evening just to be.
We are an unusual couple, you know.
Oh, I don't think that was ever in question.
Throughout my life, the 10 rings gave our family power. If you wanted them to be yours one day, you have to show me you are strong enough to carry them.
You are a product of all who came before you. The legacy of your family. You are your mother. And whether you like it or not, you are also your father.
I told my men they wouldn't be able to kill you if they tried. Glad I was right.
You're just a criminal who murders people.
Be careful how you speak to me, boy.
I thought I could change my name. Start a new life. But I could never escape his shadow.
My son, you can't run from your past.
Is this what you wanted?
You got this.
Thank you.
All right. And hey, Gunnar, you made it, man. Welcome to the show. All right. So, yes, we got Gunnar, co-host of Snap and MCU Podcast. How have you been, man?
Man, I've been great. Was in the wrong chat room. Was in the wrong room.
Well,
like,
you didn't get someone saying in the wrong directions.
Start. I thought it was because it said I was in the waiting room. I'm like, what's going on here? Rookie mistake. You think I haven't been podcasting for 10 years.
StreamYard is kind of a pain. We've had that problem on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network where Mark will send a link, but then later he'll have to reboot it and send the new link. And not everyone gets it. So somebody will be waiting. It's like, where the heck is everyone? Because they didn't get the message.
On StreamYard, I have to be on Google. So the link was on Safari. So I had to go to Safari, copy the link, go to Google. Oh, it's a mess.
Yeah.
But I made it. Ready to talk.
Thank you, Gunnar. We appreciate it.
Ready to talk Marvel.
All right. Glad to hear it. So do we have any more trailers to watch, or should we start with number, I think we were on 6?
We're on 6. Yeah, I didn't want to overdo it with the trailers. I thought that was a good enough taste. I don't know. I enjoyed seeing them. I don't know what you guys think, but I love that Shang Chi trailer, that second trailer.
Oh, yeah, that trailer is awesome.
They took out that scene, though, where he says, don't speak to me, boy, or whatever. They took that out of the film.
Are you sure? No, it's in the movie.
As great as that Shang Chi trailer is, that WandaVision trailer is just as good, if not better. That WandaVision trailer is one of the best. Like, nothing got me more excited than seeing that WandaVision trailer.
Absolutely.
It brings you back, doesn't it?
Both trailers were great. The one where Agatha winks when she rings the bell. Oh, that's great.
So what are you guys excited about?
Anticipation.
I'm sorry, Jeff, please repeat.
Oh, it just takes you back to anticipating it coming out, you know?
Yeah.
It does. It really does. I should have, you know what, Gunnar, I should have grabbed that other WandaVision trailer because you're right. That's really good. But I love that in the trailer we watched right there where you see Monica Rambeau get ejected from like the you know, whatever you want to call it, the zone or whatever.
The hex. That's what they called it.
Yeah. I remember now. Watching her get ejected like that, you know, and like with all the sword people outside, of the hex and everything and whatnot was really cool. I remember when me and Perry Ramsey just started the Bleeding Edge, and we were reviewing an episode of WandaVision. I didn't know what I was doing at that point, really, and I was trying to like screen share all these big chunks of the episode. It was like the third episode where Monica Rambeau, like you see Sword, and you get Monica Rambeau and everything. You know, oh man, that was a great episode. But anyways, I digress. Alexis.
All right. So, like I said, last week we started our top 10 of Marvel's 2021. And we kind of went back and forth on what we thought were some of the best. I think majority of us agreed that Spider-Man No Way Home was probably deserving of the number 1 spot. So we are on to number 6. You know what, Gunnar? Why don't you go ahead and tell us what your number 6
Sure. So we did this on Snap Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. Jeff joined us, and so I'm using my same list. Which it's funny because we're reviewing Shang Chi this week, so Shang Chi I think would be way higher on my list after just watching it. And like we talked about last week, What If I think would be way higher. This one, my number 6, I think would be down a lot more. So my number 6 is Venom, Let There Be Carnage. And let me explain why. I didn't particularly care for it much the first time. The second time, I liked it a lot more. There's so much wrong with it, but for that for the thought about where it's going to go, like just the seeing him transfer over to the MCU, that glimmer of hope, I have it up a little higher than it would. The whole story with Carnage was a disaster. I love Woody Harrelson. I'm coming out of the closet, Eddie. Like that whole stuff I could have done without. But I liked enough of this to keep it up at 6 on this list. When I did this, we did this before the new year, Jeff, I think. So this list is done right after seeing No Way Home. So yeah, I would probably drop more, but I'm keeping my list the same. So technically, for the case of this podcast, my number 6 is Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah, we joked on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network about just how perfect Woody Harrelson was for this role. We said it's like we have a feeling that before they even started filming the first Venom movie, well, they were still kicking around ideas for the script, and someone mentioned Carnage. They're like, who'd be perfect when we finally get around to that? Woody Harrelson. It's just it was a casting choice made in heaven.
Unfortunately, they spent too much time on Carnage, and like it was more of a Carnage standalone film than a Venom film. I feel like Venom was in it so little. There was one. It reminded me, and I sound like I'm trashing here, but you know what Marvel adjacent it reminded me the most of? Fantastic Four, the reboot, the Michael B. Jordan one.
The fan-tastic one.
That movie was an hour and 15 minutes of build-up to like a 30-minute fight. It was awful. It was awful.
Among other problems with that movie.
Yeah, but you know what? I didn't hate it. I put it higher than it maybe should have been on my list, like I said. But, I mean, it is what it is. Number 6.
All right. Jeff, you got something you want to say about Venom 2?
Just that going off of what you said, Gunnar, and being that we haven't really talked about Venom 2 at all during the countdown, really at all. I feel like I don't blame Woody Harrelson necessarily for what happened with Venom 2. I feel like they could have done some different things with him in the movie. Like I didn't like the fact that they didn't really they didn't really give you more flashbacks or anything like that to explain kind of like the psyche of Carnage, you know what I mean? Like of Cletus Cassidy, like explain like how crazy he is and whatnot, really and whatnot. Like he just comes out like he's all crazy, and overall I like Woody Harrelson. I didn't think he did that bad of a job. I just think
he was great. He was the best part of the movie, I think.
Oh yeah.
Although why did he lose the hair? They went through the trouble in the first Venom post-credit scene to give him the red curly hair, and then the movie came. They're like, we lost the wig.
final battle
I'm
was
sorry.
like-
I was so glad they lost that first wig. I mean, I know it was more comic accurate, but it literally looked like someone just scalped Ronald McDonald and threw it on top of Will's head. It did not look
movie a lot more than I did the first time. I really enjoyed it the second time. So.
All right. So, do you guys want to keep talking about Venom 2, or should I ask, or should we go on to your?
I do want to mention. I just want to mention that when I went to see Venom 2, I was on a date, and Andrew's probably worried now that I went ahead and started the premise off with that because he knows where this could go. But no, I went on the date, and I made like what was one of the worst moves of my entire like dating life. I went to have dinner with this woman. And then we went to the theater to go see Venom 2, and we both parked. And like I met her over at her car, and we were gonna walk into the theater to go watch the movie. And I actually reached out and took her hand, like held her hand for whatever reason. I don't know what I was thinking. Like as we walked like to the theater, and it was a total buzzkill for like her. Like I asked her about it later on in the evening, and she was like, "Yeah, what was up with that?" You know, like. So I'm just putting it out there, guys. Like I guess that works for some guys, but it didn't work for me.
Good to know.
Okay.
All right. Andrew, you want to give us your number 6?
Yeah, actually, hold on. I expected it to jump to me so quick. Number 6 for me is What If. What If it's fun, but for me, like every other episode was one that I enjoyed, and the other episodes were ones I kind of just like mentally checked out. Like I think the only one I didn't watch was the Killmonger Iron Man one. That's the only one I have no idea what happened. For some reason, I don't know what happened that week. I just skipped it, but like I remember the episode with T'Challa. Let's start with the Star-Lord thing. That was like one of the highlights for me. I love that episode. So Thanos, like if Thanos was just like, you know, he just had a little more acceptable, like, wasn't so, you know, and then like we still get those moments where he's like that was a good plan. Like he's still thinking about the whole genocide thing. Like he's not acting on it. That episode was the Star-Lord and T'Challa being Star-Lord. I love that episode. I think for the most part, I felt like all of it was very inconsequential, and because of that, I just wasn't too invested in it because I was like, I remember halfway through the season, like people were still debating, like, is this canon? Is this not canon? And like the story should be able to stand on its own, but not sure if it's canon or not. Kind of just made me not care as much because like Marvel films and shows almost kind of feel like homework, but like homework you enjoy in a way where like you're trying to keep up with knowing what's going on, so you know what's going to happen later. And What If to this day I still don't know if any of it is canon, and I mean it seems like it's implied with like the Doctor Strange stuff and all that, but I don't know. It just didn't really click with me. And honestly, I think everything else that I've mentioned so far, I've enjoyed so much more, but it was still more enjoyable than my bottom picks that I'll get to later. So it kind of just sits in this very weird middling area for me. So I don't know.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about What If that much so far. I was a big fan of it. Part of that was due to I'm a big animation fan, and the show was also directed by Brian Andrews, who was a really big name in animation. This was a supervising director for Samurai Jack and the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars series, which I'm a huge fan of. So seeing his name on there, I was really excited to see him attached. He really knows action animation. He knows fight choreography very well. If you're a fan of Samurai Jack, you know what I'm talking about. So anybody else want to jump in on What If, or do we want to move? Jeff, I didn't ask you what's your number 6, man.
Oh, well, you know what? Before we get into the number 6, if you don't mind, I'd love to just go around the table really quick with What If and just find out which episode everybody loved the most, like out of the What If series,
Sure,
individually.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
I'll start. And I guess I probably would go with probably a tie, probably the 8th and the 9th episode, the 8th and the finale probably would be like 50-50 for me. I could interchange them. Yeah, I'd say for me, the whole concept of the zombie Scarlet Witch was just like awesome. Like I could like that was like unbelievable to me. And I love the fact that they brought Ultron back. You know, it was good to see Ultron back. You know, like I hope he comes back to the MCU at some point. But and then seeing that I know you talked about the canon, Andrew, but the fact that they kept Supreme Strange in the show and brought him back for those final episodes, like that, you know, after like episode 5 or whatever, when he became like Supreme Strange, they brought him back there, like, you know, at the end of the show. I like that. I like that they actually had episodes that tied into each other and stuff like that, you know, and I liked seeing the Watcher get involved. Like that was really cool. Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher was really good, man.
Oh, that was perfect voice
I love
casting.
his voice.
Jeffrey Wright is such a great actor. I loved his take as Felix Leiter in the recent James Bond movies.
Yes.
All right. Gunnar, do you want to tell us what your favorite episode of What If was?
Yeah, you know, like the last 2 were what I wanted out of this series. I wanted them to kind of intertwine more. But you know, I won't steal Jeff's answer for this. Just because I don't know, I liked a lot of them. Thanos' character in the T'Challa episode, the best thing about this whole series. I would see movies about that Thanos. I really, really, really liked that whole episode with T'Challa Star. I really like Strange Supreme. That was really good. And for as terrible, the party Thor one was the take Thor episode was all about the Easter eggs. That was like Ready Player One in one condensed. Like Howard the Duck and Darcy got together and got married. How great was that? So yeah, I mean, the zombie one might have been my least favorite one out of them all, but
agree.
But yeah, Sharon Carter, I hope she comes back as Agent Carter. That'll be great.
There has been talk about a spin-off Agent Carter series.
Yeah, that'll be great.
That's a possibility. Jeff, what was your favorite episode of What If?
Number 4, the Supreme Doctor Strange was my favorite one.
Yeah, that one's great.
That was really good. And yeah, there's hints. We're wondering if that's going to tie into the multiverse of madness, because it looks like we see it's definitely like a dark Doctor Strange. It's Strange Supreme.
If the trailer's halfway right, it matches identical to some of the panels in that cartoon. And
well, they have the buildings where they're like inking away, and that was
like that's all
perfect in the trailer.
Back to what Jeff mentioned earlier about the Ultron stuff. Like I completely forgot about it until you mentioned it, but I love that moment where like Ultron's done. Like he's done with his work. There's like nothing for him to do. And then he becomes like aware of the Watcher. And like the way he's done, where it's kind of like who said that? And it's like, oh. And like the Watcher like kind of retreats a little bit, and like he just like breaks through across like the glass or mirror, whatever, like border of like the reality. Such a cool moment. I love that. I love that whole like where he's like, okay, like it's kind of like a Thanos moment, like, okay, I'm done. Like, what do I do now?
Yeah, it's terrifying. Ultron was terrifying in that.
And they may or may not have gone to Mustafar, which is awesome. They sure as heck look like Mustafar.
I think I'm tied between the T'Challa Star-Lord episode and the Thor is an Only Child episode. I think it's important to point out that majority of the MCU actors did their own voice acting, and this was the final appearance of Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
This was recorded just a little bit before he died. It's really touching to know that this was the last thing he got to work on, because he sounds so good. He really was amazing as T'Challa, and even doing the voice work. It's so hard to find actors who can sound so natural, both doing performance on screen and doing voice work, because they're really completely different things. And I think that's the other thing I love about Thor being an only child. The party episode is Chris Hemsworth is hilarious doing the voice work, and he just sounds like he's having so much fun. And it really, and that's one of the episodes I just laughed at the hardest. Not just the Easter eggs, but all the little jokes. You got the scene of Surtur hitting on the Statue of Liberty and stuff. That just cracks me up.
You know, Taika Waititi breathed so much life back into such a dead film series. And I think because of how great Ragnarok was, Thor was the best part of Infinity War series. One of the best parts. He was great in this. Like Thor, I'm more excited about Love and Thunder than maybe anything coming out. And I think it's just because Taika just brought that film series back. It brought it back because
I think that
like, you keep saying this, you're making the guys at the Radulich and Broadcasting Network twitch, because at least 3 of the guys on that network hate Ragnarok with every type of they say they feel that it was a cop out. They don't like. Now I'm against that. I think Ragnarok's one of my favorite recent MCU movies, and I've watched it more times than I can count. But they hate that. They feel that Thor should not be this funny. They feel that they were trying too hard to recapture what James Gunn gave us in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that as well. But I think it worked.
Yeah.
Coming off of what Gunnar said, and I don't know what you think, Jeff, but I think the whole slate for this year, the films that we have coming up, Multiverse of Madness, Love and Thunder, and Wakanda Forever are going to be strong movies. Like, I think we're going to have a really strong year, like a bounce back year for like the MCU movies. You know what I mean? We've got some really good ones coming up. And I'm optimistic about Black Panther 2. I really am. I want to believe that Ryan Coogler can figure it out and make it work and put the pieces together. You know, I still don't know how they're going to handle the Black Panther situation.
I don't want to know until the movie, to be honest. I hope it doesn't leak.
Well, there was news that actually came out today. The filming had been delayed for a while. Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri, had injured herself doing a stunt. Filming was hiatus. They basically shot everything they could without her, but she still hadn't recovered. So it was like, okay, we got to go on hiatus. They announced today she is recovered. She is back to filming, so they're going to get the movie wrapped up.
That's good news.
I think got that vaccine for Disney.
I think Thor Love and Thunder is one that kind of, I think people are kind of sleeping on it a little bit right now. And like, I think that Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher could be like really big.
Absolutely.
I really want to see how Christian Bale plays that, because I like there's a certain level of actors like DiCaprio and such where they're above the MCU. And like Christian Bale is really someone who before this I would have seen to be kind of like, I don't know the guy. I don't know if he's snooty or not, but he just seems to me like he would be. So the fact that he's in this, I'm curious to see, is he going to go along with like the deadpan humor, or is he going to play like a straight character? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder, like, is he going to kind of lean into the MCU's goofiness, or like, I wonder, because playing like opposite of Thor, especially Chris Hemsworth Thor, like, you know, there's going to be some kind of like clashing of like antics or something. So I'm just curious to see how Christian Bale pulls that off.
That's true. Has Bale ever done a comedy?
American Psycho.
Is that a comedy?
Fred
That would be like a
Ellison
dark
just
comedy.
Dark
pissed
comedy.
off, and he doesn't know why.
I'm just excited to see Korg back. Korg's one of my favorite MCU characters.
Oh God.
Like rules. I want that Korg pineapple. I know it's the Taika Waititi one that he wore to Comic-Con or something, but I want that pineapple cabana shirt. Great.
That was a good shirt. However, that is actually going to bring into another point I was going to bring up. Speaking of actors who you would think are above the MCU, who here has been keeping up with the news on the potential cameos for Multiverse of Madness?
I don't know Tom Cruise, if that's right.
Yeah, there you go.
That is a 0% chance.
I'm not excited about that at all.
No one wants to see Tom Cruise as Iron
I
Man.
do. I want to see that. I want to see how weird that's going to be. I imagine it'll be something people will talk about, and that's something I'm interested in.
Yeah, it kind of makes me laugh because there was a meme that came out years ago that said, like, if the MCU had been made in the 90s, and it showed all the actors they would have picked.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why they did that. I don't think it's real. As of right now, if this thing blows up and Marvel's like, well, I can go back and reshoot a couple scenes, but I would bet the house that he's not coming. That's just
probably.
I mean, the list of people that they said are going to be in this, I don't think that's what this movie isn't Endgame, multiversal Endgame. This movie isn't No Way Home. I think if we ever would get Tom Cruise as a different Iron Man, would be in like, Secret Wars or something. I don't see that happening now in Multiverse of Madness.
All right. Jeff, I haven't heard from you in a while. What did you think about the potential Tom Cruise Iron Man leak?
Oh, well, it's whatever to me. I mean, I don't think it's that tangible. But bringing it back to me, you had asked me for my number 6, Alexis, a minute ago. So I'll go ahead and get back into the ranking. So with number 6, I guess I'm going to go with probably I guess Shang Chi. And now this my ranking is totally different than the one that I did on Gunner's show. I've gone in a totally different direction. That's how much my mind changes about this stuff. But I feel like with Shang Chi, it edges out Hawkeye for me. Like, basically, I guess I know it's hard to like contrast and compare a Disney Plus series and an MCU film, but I think that Shang-Chi kind of grew on me, kind of like, over time, like Gunnar talked about, like with Venom 2. The first time I saw it in the theater, I walked away a little bit deflated by like some aspects of it. Maybe like the third segment of it didn't really do what I wanted, I guess. But overall, seeing the trailers and everything, it was a really good movie. And I don't know what else to say other than the fact that after watching it again, I've come to enjoy it more. It's definitely better than I think than Hawkeye. And that's where I was like leaning between those two. So,
all right. Do you guys want to talk more about Shang-Chi, or should we move on to number 7?
You know what? Let's if you don't mind, my number 7 is also Shang-Chi. So why don't I just jump in right now? Again, we're covering Shang-Chi this week on our podcast. So I just rewatched it for only the second time. So after rewatching it the second time, man, I really liked it. So again, redoing this list, it would probably bump up a couple spots. But this by far, I think, of the films that came out, had the most impact on the MCU because of that, besides Spider-Man, of course, because of that post-credits. The best post-credits scenes this year came from this film, and I think it's because it does what the point of a post-credit scene is to get you questioning what's coming next. And I'm sorry, but the Eternals post-credit scene did nothing for me. The Black Widow, though, it was cool. It didn't really spark any questions. You knew Yelena was going to show up in Hawkeye already, but seeing Bruce Banner back as Bruce Banner and not Smart Hulk has left me with what? And now I can't wait for She-Hulk to find out what's going. Why is he not Smart Hulk anymore? And that's what post credits do. Plus, the whole karaoke thing with Wong was great.
It was a lot of fun. Not to mention, it shed an interesting light watching him fight with Abomination. Now that thanks to No Way Home, we know that he's the Sorcerer Supreme.
But here's something else that I didn't even think of. Obviously, the first time we didn't know, Wong is cage fighting Abomination. And what do we know now that we didn't know back then? He is the Sorcerer Supreme. Why is the Sorcerer Supreme cage fighting a criminal? And I think we'll find out why.
They need money.
Whenever the Thunderbolts comes out, I think that's when we're going to find out why.
So he was training him. He says, like, I told you to lift your guard block or something. I can't remember exactly what he tells him, but it's something like, I told you it's like, if you had done what I told you, then this wouldn't have been a problem. So it's clear that and they go through the same portal together. So he's training Abomination for something. But yeah, I think we'll find out a little bit later what that is.
Thunderbolts.
Looking forward to it.
I just don't understand how he got off the raft, like Abomination.
Like, you know what I mean? Like where portals, there's a presence behind him. So I think with Ross's permission, he's training him. Wong has taken him to this.
He's gained some yard time.
I want to find out how what he's been juicing himself with to change his appearance as much as he has.
And he's wearing pants, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, no, I love that. He's got the
Ed Norton movie.
Yeah, he's got those things now. All right, Jeff, you want to put in your 2 cents about Shang-Chi?
Which one are we going with? Which Jeff? I never got to do number 6.
Oh, that's
my
right.
God. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we just skipped.
Jeff
Well,
B.
we started on me and then we skipped me. But
I'm so sorry, man. Okay, Jeffy, what is your number 6? Please?
well, I mean, I'm going to get trashed for my number 6, but I'm going with the Eternals, and I'll tell you what.
Oh,
I went in to watch that movie after reading everything I read about it and everything I've heard about it, including the Rotten Tomatoes score. And my expectation was, oh man, I'm going to see a trash movie. And that was an absolute canon of an MCU movie. That was Earth X all the way. And I loved it. I loved the opening scene of Pink Floyd's Time. It tells me exactly where it's going, exactly where the Marvel Universe is going. In the credits, I saw where it had Jim Kruger's name in there, Alex Ross's name. And that's awesome, giving them special thanks because they're using Earth X all the way with having the Celestial in the center of Earth. And they went as far as to explain with the snap about how, when Thanos did the first snap, that it postponed the first convergence. And so that skipped it over for 5 years. It probably would have ended, it would have been the end of Earth had it went the way originally it was supposed to go. But when Thanos did the snap, that postponed it for 5 years. And that ultimately is what the Eternals went back to figure out, was that the Earth people were smarter than, were compassionate and everything else. But I loved it. I didn't think it was a movie for all Marvel fans. I thought it was focused really on DC more than anything. And I say that because of the New Gods, that I thought it really rang with more New Gods than anything to me. But that was Kirby, that's how he did it. I think if he had seen it, I think he would have liked it. I was really going in there expecting a trash movie, and I was really shocked. I actually liked it. I was like, dude, I've watched it like 3 or 4 times.
Now that I've had a chance to watch some YouTubers talk about the movie and stuff like that and break it down and like connect it to like the biblical stories and everything like that and whatnot, and you see the connections and everything with the story and like the Bible and like it's pretty deep.
I just loved how they started with Pink Floyd and they ended with It Feels Like the First Time. That's what was just killer to me, because it tells me exactly where the universe is going. And they, at the end of it, they made sure to tell you that the Eternals will be back. And then, through the credits at the end of that movie, after watching Shang Chi and seeing the end credits of Shang Chi, I'm glad that I got to watch the Eternals, because when they're looking at the rings and they're talking about the rings and all of them are saying they've never seen that it doesn't register on anything that they have in their cosmic, after watching Eternals, it ties it to Phastos to me. I think somehow the Eternals and those rings are associated with each other somehow. And then the Black Knight with Blade.
Oh yeah.
We're just going to get a lot of supernatural stuff
awesome.
right there, which I can't wait. That's going to be Captain Britain and those guys. I loved it, man. I really did.
For me, that did more for me than the freaking Venom 2 end credit scene, which was crazy good. That whole thing with them having Blade, Mahershala Ali pop up with the Black Knight. I can't wait. We talked about that before the show. I can't wait to see Kit Harington actually become the Black Knight. And I love that they're tying him with Blade already.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just shocked that, when they wrote those books, when Alex Ross and Kruger wrote those books, that was like in 1999. Man, it's like 22 years ago. It took them 22 years to get this much of that story out. And a lot of people didn't get it. And I understand why they didn't get it, because there was a lot of down scenes. It wasn't like the perfect movie. I mean, they spent way too much time chasing down the other Eternals. To be Eternals, they should have known where everybody was at. And then to find the speedster, she's just hanging out, chilling in the ship. I just thought that was kind of odd too, But I loved it, man. I was expecting a really bad movie. And it wasn't just because of what everybody else has said. It was like the Rotten Tomatoes. And I was like, God, man, this is going to be a Marvel trash movie. And like I said, I watched it like 3 or 4 times, and I loved it. I mean, I really did. And each time I watch it, I keep thinking about there's more stuff, there's more clues popping out. So it was really cool. I mean, I loved seeing Pip at the end. I loved seeing Star Fox. I mean, that opens it up. Are they going to, we're going to see those in Guardians of 3, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, because, they're obviously good friends with Adam Warlock, so that's cool. It's just really neat thinking of where they're going to go. But then my number 7 was Hawkeye. And, we've spent a lot of time on Hawkeye, so there's not much more I can say about it. I loved it. I mean, I loved Hawkeye. I did. But I gave it 7 and only because I liked it. I liked it better than my number 8. But, yeah. So I can't say much more about Hawkeye.
Andrew, where was Eternals on your list? Do you know?
I have not mentioned it yet because, you know what? After listening to Bowman talk about it, like I was gonna put it as my number 7, but now I feel like I might switch it with What If, because I think now, like, the thing with Eternals is, for some, I think it's partially the cinematography, but something about that movie doesn't feel like an MCU movie, and I can't quite put my finger on it.
I agree.
It reminds you of the New Gods. It reminds you of New Gods.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know anything about DC. I'm not a big DC guy, so I don't know if.
Oh, I'm not either. I just know that just some of the New God stuff that I've seen in the past, and I know Tom King was going to do New Gods, and then it got put on the back burner. So, I was looking forward to that, but that's like Dark Side, I think, and I'm really not familiar with all the New Gods names, but that's what it kind of reminds me. That's why I was saying I think it related more to DC fans. They mentioned a lot of DC characters in it, if you remember, which I thought was kind of strange too. But
I didn't really care much for I felt like the villains, the
deviants.
Yeah.
The deviants, they felt so like throwaway, inconsequential. Like the whole like they were dealt with, and then like, okay, they've been gone for hundreds of years, and it's like, oh, they're back, and it's like, what is their motivation? Like they're kind of just like basically machines, and like there's nothing really deeper. And I was like, I feel like kind of 50-50 on the design. I think the color scheme is cool. I'm not a big fan of this CGI wired monster looking design, but I don't know. I really didn't care much for. I felt like if you took that movie, I feel like the movie wouldn't have been that much different, honestly. Other than maybe just Ajax would have to have died a different way. But the whole thing where Athena gets captured by like the main one, the smartest of the deviants, and then we kind of just don't go anywhere with that. She just kills them, and it's like, I don't know.
Was there a point for you? Was there a point for the deviant to have a personality?
We don't even know if she did or not.
Yeah.
They didn't come back and tell us. They just kind of left us hanging on that.
Yeah. I do. Some of the characters do feel kind of not pointless, but they kind of feel almost inconsequential, kind of just on the side. Like Druig, I can't remember his name. Druig, I think. Kind of
some of their arcs, Andrew. Some of the arcs that they give some of them in the characters in the film just doesn't do anything for them. You know what I mean? Like Angelina Jolie's arc, I didn't really like in the film.
Well, I like the relationship she had with was it Festus?
Gilgamesh.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gilgamesh. That's right. I get
Gilgamesh.
the guys confused. Yes, Gilgamesh.
Oh, you have any idea how many people are confusing the actor who played Gilgamesh with the actor who played Wong?
Right. Yeah, I've heard that too.
Oh, yeah.
So where are we at? Where are we at in the ranking? Who are we on?
I think we're still on number 7.
Yeah, we're on 7, but
7. Yeah. So I'm just switching it with What If for me. So What If is 7 now for me? Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't know if we wanted to keep talking Eternals or if we wanted to go around and keep doing number 7. So
no, let's wrap up 7. Who's next? Is it me or who still hasn't done their 7? Me or Gunnar?
Yeah, you two haven't done yours
I
yet.
did. My number 7 was Shang Chi.
Oh,
that's
your
right.
number 7? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then, Mr. Jeff S. Sorry for the rocking back and forth, by the way.
No,
Somebody
you're good.
insists it's playtime. I have to multitask.
I guess number 7, like I said, I probably will go with Hawkeye. And like Jeff already said, we already talked about Hawkeye quite a bit. I think that, hey, I mean, it was a good show. I enjoyed it. I love Hawkeye. You know, I like Kate Bishop. I thought that the finale was pretty damn good. You know, to be honest with you, I thought it was all right. I thought the Echo character didn't really do. I didn't like her arc or how they did her in Hawkeye. I'm wondering kind of like how the Echo Disney Plus series is going to go down, like how that's going to play out. Yeah, I definitely will go with Hawkeye. And again, we talked about it a whole bunch already. It was a solid show. It wasn't as good as Loki or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it was still pretty decent.
All right. Then I guess we're going to go ahead and move on to number 8. Let's see here. Any volunteers on who wants to go first?
No, I'll take 8.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Go ahead, man.
Mine's Shang Chi at number 8, and I only put that there because, and you know, when you're talking about the deviants in Eternals, the dragons in Shang Chi reminds me of the deviants in Eternals. So it was kind of odd how it was they resembled each other so much in that CGI part, but I don't know if it was the colors or what it was, but the rings were strong, man. That whole movie was strong. I loved the cinematography, I guess would be what that is. The scenery, all the colors, everything about it was just awesome. And then bringing back the guy off of Iron Man 3, bringing him back in, I thought that was funny. I mean, you know, because he actually played a role, you know, and it was neat. I didn't understand the little animal that he had. I didn't understand where it came from.
The winged ottoman. Yeah.
Right. I didn't understand where it came from.
He does look like an ottoman.
Where the hell did this come from? But I mean, you know, it was cute.
I like that.
That shit was fucking stupid.
But that movie, I mean, they've opened the door up for a lot of stuff in Shang-Chi. This version of the rings better than the version of rings we had in the original Iron Man. I guess what I'm trying to say. I know they kind of tied it back a little bit. They gave us the impression that the 10 rings in the first Iron Man movie was like a part of a clan, I guess, was kind
like
of what I
offshoot.
get.
Offshoot.
That's what I kind of get. But I like Shang-Chi. I thought it was awesome.
The rings were awesome. We saw them in the trailer there just a minute ago. The way that they did the rings was great. I loved it.
Yeah, but I'm good. Whoever's next.
Actually, let's go ahead and follow up on that. The rings in the comics had different magical properties, and they were finger rings.
Yeah,
we're going with something a little different here. There's a lot of hypothesis and ideas about what we're going to see out of these rings in future installments.
That's why I was saying it kind of makes me think of Fastos because of all the rings he was using. You know what I mean? I'm just wondering if some of them got away. You know what I mean?
What I heard was that, I don't know if it's true or not, but the whole thing with the rings being like bracelets basically was like they didn't want to do the whole like individual powered ring thing so close to after doing the Infinity Stone stuff.
That's what I heard too.
Wearable jewelry that each has like its own unique ability. They want to tread down that same path again, supposedly.
Yeah, we had this theory on Damn You Hollywood that we're going to see that the rings do have more individual powers. It kind of calls back to the line that we got about Captain America's his shield. The line, it's like the most powerful metal in the universe, and they made a frisbee out of it. So the idea is that, maybe after all this time, the Mandarin was using these rings and he never actually tapped into their full potential. And now it's going to be like all these years, all this time using them, and he never figured this out. We've seen things like that before in the MCU, the Mind Stone being my favorite example, the idea that that was just in Loki's staff, and they were just like, and Ultron says the line, it's like one of the most powerful, items in the universe, and they barely scratched the surface. So I think that's something that the MCU really likes to do. They really like to plant early on a MacGuffin of some point, and then later on is just like, this was so much more than you thought. And I really like doing that.
Well, we know the rings are calling to something or someone. So in my head canon, I'm wondering if it's going to be, Galactus or something. And maybe that's why they're rings, because they fit on his
Got to be
finger.
something cosmic.
Yeah, I think it'll be a way to bring in Galactus. That's a good.
And I'm only using Phastos' name because of the way the movie ended with the Eternals, because they left us with all three of them still captured.
Yeah,
and he disappeared with them.
Yeah, it was Cersei, Phastos, and Kingo.
Kingo, yeah.
Kingo, yeah, they were the ones who were captured by Arishem. And we have Mercury, or what's her name?
Yeah, Mercury. Somebody also told me that all their names originally were going to be for the Greek names, but they had to change it, I guess. I don't know why, but that's why her name, Mercury, she actually stands for Mercury, the Greek speedster Mercury.
Yeah, we have Makari, that's it. Makari, Druid,
yeah.
and Athena, or just Thena, on the ship. So...
And who would have thought that Angelique Jolie was so strong of an actress? She did such a good job as Thena. I thought she was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Angelina Jolie fan.
I'm not either. And I was impressed with how well she did.
Yeah, we talk about actors who we thought were too high up on the totem pole to be in an MCU movie. I thought that of her. I was like, really? She's gonna be in an MCU movie?
That's exactly what my thought was when I heard that she was going to be in.
You tell she really did try though. Like it was just like another job for her. I
thought it was really funny how Kit Harington and Madden, they were both in love with, of all
Richard
people,
Madden, yeah.
Cersei. If that's not a Game of Thrones throwback, I don't know what is. I just thought that was funny.
Rivals.
Yeah. I'm just not gonna lie. I wasn't a huge fan of Eternals myself. Mostly just because I feel that it would have. We were talking about this before the show started briefly, and Jeff can vouch for me that I brought this up when we reviewed it on the MCU's Bleeding Edge. I feel that this storyline would have been a lot better had it been a TV show. Because my biggest complaint, besides
there's a lot of origins that need to be explained.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I really wanted more time to get to know a lot of these characters because I thought so many of them had very fascinating backstories. Yet Kingo,
there's a lot of.
Yeah, you got Kingo who's been acting, playing his own descendant for all these generations. Like, that's fascinating. I want to see more. You got Sprite, who has been forced to live the life of a tween or a teenager for thousands of years. I'm like, again, interesting. You got Phastos, who, feels this guilt that his inventions may have started mankind into their destruction. And now he's trying to live a life with his family. Again, this is all very fascinating. And I hated that we didn't get to spend a lot of time with, these interesting characters. We instead focused on Cersei and Icarus, who frankly were bland.
Yeah.
Cersei and Icarus were unbelievably bland and boring. And it's like, why are we focusing on them? We know nothing. They have no personality in this movie whatsoever.
I felt so bad for Phastos being captured like that. Now he's gone, and he wanted to spend so much time with his son.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, that sucks.
Yeah, and again,
singing.
Gotta love Brian Tyree Henry for playing Phastos. He gave him so much characteristics and personality.
Yeah.
I love the bit where Thena spears the fruit at the end, and he just looks at her like, "You have so lost your babysitting privileges."
Yeah,
it's a great line. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Gunnar, you want to go ahead and give us your next ranking?
Sure. So my number 8 is Black Widow, and I like Black Widow. Don't get me wrong, but I think. Well, first, let me say the great stuff. Yelena was great. Red Guardian was great. They even got to bring up Crimson Dynamo. Awesome. That made and so I like the Black Widow movie a lot. But having said that, Marvel is all about going forward, and this movie just kind of went backwards, but not to where we all wanted to see. I'm sorry, this would have been a cool movie to come out back or after Civil War. So they're going to go back and tell a story about Black Widow, and go back to the beginning. Go show me Budapest. Show me Hawkeye saving her.
Right.
How do you have a Black Widow movie and not have Hawkeye in it? I don't know. It just, and I get the whole point of the movie. One of the big points was introducing us to Yelena. But I don't know, besides the moving forward of Yelena, this whole thing was just a big step back. It set the MCU back some, with a story that could have been better told, differently. Like I said, give me that. Everything that they talked about, show me that. And everything that they showed me, tell me about that. Because I was way more interested in how she became working for S.H.I.E.L.D. and how she got saved. That story interests me. I like the movie. I mean, it's 8th on my list, but man, I as a standalone movie, not in relation with the MCU, it was great. It was. And I mean, life said negative things. I don't even have to mention Taskmaster anymore. But
we talked about Taskmaster done dirty last weekend.
I got nothing else to say about Black Widow. Did I really enjoy it? Yes, very, very much. Did I have a lot of problems with it? Yeah, I did. That's why it's 8.
All right, Andrew, you want to tell us what's next on your list?
Yeah. Well, my list is gonna be a little shorter than your guys, just because twice I'm doing the tie thing because for me it's Black Widow and Venom 2 are tied for last for me. I'm not gonna go down the whole thing again. Gunnar and Jeff last week talked enough about Black Widow. The family stuff was the strongest. The Taskmaster stuff was dirty, so on and so forth. I'm not going to retread old ground. With Venom 2, we already talked about. This is the funny thing. We get to the end, like it's just kind of we're treading old stuff because it's all been mentioned at this point. But the whole thing with the thing that bothered me the most about Venom 2 was there's no such thing as coincidence, and the whole thing that his girlfriend has the exact same power that happens to be the weakness of himself. It was just too convenient. And then the whole thing where they ignored that also fire is a symbiote weakness, and for some reason that's not there's a couple of times where they could have mentioned that, and it's just kind of ignored for some reason. I don't know. There's some things that are too convenient, and some things are just inconsistent with Venom 2. I don't care much for that club scene where he goes clubbing. I felt so out of place. Yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed the humor. I like the relationship that Eddie and the symbiote have. That's fun. That's fun to me. I enjoy that. But I don't know. Just the whole movie outside of that just kind of falls apart for me. And then with Black Widow, I already mentioned Black Widow. So yeah, those two are. I don't like either one more or less than the other. Those are just like my bottom two. So that's it. Really.
Let me say one more thing about Venom. As great as I thought it was bringing Venom into No Way Home, the idea to leave him out, besides I thought hilarious, but I think that was 150% the right call.
The smartest way, yeah.
Because I mean, if you're gonna send that symbiote into the MCU, I mean, if you've already introduced Venom, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be clunky. Or you're gonna have Tobey Maguire that's gonna be like, oh yeah, Venom, Eddie Brock. Yeah, you used to be my arch nemesis. Now we're friends. Like, it would have been so clunky and so contrived just having him there. And I thought it was just genius, just have him hanging out at a bar, hanging out with Danny Rojas. So good call leaving him out. Way to show restraint.
Yeah, that was the best way to introduce the symbiote without doing the meteor stuff all over again, or the Jameson's son thing, or any of that. I'm glad they kind of just like dropping it off. Here we go. now you can play with it from here on out, kind of thing. I agree.
Peter didn't get the symbiote in Infinity War. Being out in space, that's kind of where, in my mind, before that movie came out, that's probably where they're going to go with this. That's how they're going to introduce the symbiote. Because that was before Venom came out. So,
yeah, a lot of people thought that we were going to see Black Suit Spider-Man because we had a few shots in the trailer where Peter turns his suit inside out after he gets the paint thrown on him. And just from a couple of those trailer shots, it looks like he's in a black suit. We didn't realize it was just his suit inside out.
Yeah.
So looks like, yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to get a new character. Do you guys think we're going to get another Eddie Brock, or how do you think we're going to go with this now that the symbiote is in the MCU on Earth 616, as it were, but the Eddie Brock that we have seen in these last two movies is not?
Yeah, I don't, I mean,
I think it might be Flash Thompson.
I was about to say that.
If they do Flash Thompson, it'll be too much like Topher Grace, because Flash Thompson's kind of, it's not, if it was Joe Manganiello, Flash Thompson from the Raimiverse, I think that would be a better choice, but because it's this universe, I don't know that Flash Thompson is going to do much more than Topher. I just want to see him in Danny Rojas. Like, that would be great. I think people live life. You've never seen Ted Lasso? You gotta watch Ted Lasso. The bartenders from Ted Lasso, the best part of that show.
Okay.
I'll take your word for it. All right. So, are we doing our bottoms on the list now, or was there anything? Did anyone else have another rating they want to talk about before they talk about what's at the bottom of their list?
Well, I've gotten a number 9. I don't think we did number 9.
Yeah, I hate to say it, Andrew. I think you may because you tied yours. I think we got a little confused there and may have skipped. All right, who volunteers to go with their number 9 first? Well,
I'll do my 9 because it'll be quick because we've already talked to death. My number 9 is What If, and again, I've been sold between these 2 episodes and 2 episodes on my podcast that this would be way higher on my list. I mean, I think I just felt like my list was so series heavy at the top and movie heavy at the bottom that I needed to move something. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed What If. I loved it, you could say. I think once season 2 comes, I think I'm going to love it even more. But yeah, I have nothing else to say. We've spoken it to death. So my number 8 is What If.
All right, Bleeding Edge Jeff, you want to tell us what your number 9 is?
Yeah, my number 9 is the Eternals. And I mean, we talked about the Eternals pretty much, pretty well here so far. I mean, you never know. Like, over time, there's always the possibility that maybe if I watch it on Disney Plus a couple times or something, maybe I might get something from it, like a different vibe from it than I got from the theater or something. Like maybe I'll feel a little different about it a year from now or 6 months from now. I got to watch it again. That's one thing I definitely have to say. But based off of what I got out of it in the theater, Alexis, already know my personal thoughts on it since we did the review together. I just think that it just wasn't as freaking good as Black Widow or Shang Chi. And it certainly wasn't as good as Spider-Man 3, but it's better than Venom 2. I will say that.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for your number 10, obviously. All right. Looks like Andrew had to step off screen for a moment. That's fine. Jeff B, did we get your number 9 yet?
No, my number 9's What If. I don't have a number 10 because I haven't seen Venom. So my list stops at number 9. But yeah,
you're not
What If?
missing anything.
But what if is my number 9 just because I only put it at number 9 because it was animation. That's the only reason why I put it down there. Really, I probably could have put it up a little bit higher on the list, but I don't know.
Are you not a fan of animation?
Yeah, I'm a fan. I mean, I like the animation, but the only one out of there that I took, like I said, that I really loved was the Doctor Strange Supreme, and I like the zombie one too. But
me too.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them may end up bringing Agent Carter back into the Marvel universe, but But no, that's the only reason why I put it down there. It was just because it was animation. Probably could have put it a little bit higher, but it's all good.
All right. Well, then I think that there's nothing left to do but talk about what's at the bottom of our list. Andrew, you already told us because you got a tie. Gunnar, why don't you go ahead and tell us what's at your bottom?
All right. My last is Eternals. And I've been purposely silent while you guys were talking about it.
The floor is yours, man. Please.
Let me just say it had nothing to do with the quote-unquote wokeness. I actually thought they did a good job explaining why they had kind of one person from every race. They explained that great. It was great. And I love Kumal. So give me more of him any day. So having said all of that, my problems with it were, one, I didn't really care much about the characters. Like, I feel like, okay, I'm a big Star Wars EU fan all the way. I love the EU. I've read 100% of the audiobooks. I've listened to them all. I have read, I'd say 70% of every book ever made before Disney. I love the EU. But let's be honest, when they have those novels that have no major characters in it, I have a hard time. Now, take the Darth Bane books out of those because those were awesome. But like Jedi Healer, the ones with exactly, those books were awesome. But
a little visual aid.
All the other ones that didn't have the major characters, I mean, I liked them, but it was just hard to get into. And I felt the same about Eternals. I felt like it didn't move anything along. It was kind of like, oh, by the way, we have this here. You know, I didn't, honestly, I'm probably going to get hate mail here. I didn't really care that Blade was back. And I don't really know Dane Whitman. So I knew that was where we were going. So it wasn't a big surprise. Yeah, but let me just say the number one reason that I didn't like this movie is I think they had so much potential. This should have been a series. This would have been a great series. Give us more time learning these, going back to these stories. But the problem is they could have done something great with this. We know that X-Men are coming. We know that mutants are coming. We don't know how. They could have explained the deviant gene more, saying, hey, by the way, you know, there's this deviant gene inside of us. Once Thanos snapped away half the population and the Avengers snapped him back, something in that snapping mixed with the deviant gene awoken the mutant gene. And maybe that was your way to bring in the mutants. I thought that would have been a great way, because if they just say multiverse, it's terrible. I don't think they're going to do that. So I think that they had a great opportunity here to take something that, I have low expectations for this. I still really like this. As a movie, I really like this. So don't think I'm trying to trash it, because I'm not. It's just my least favorite, and it's because it really had no connection, and I was let down. The little expectation I had was let down when it didn't go anywhere. I mean, Thanos is a deviant. They didn't mention it once. Thanos' parents were Eternals. They didn't mention that at all. Like,
I was say technically Thanos is an Eternal. He's just got the deviant gene.
Yeah, and they sent both him and Star Fox both to Titan.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't bring up any. That was kind of the flaws. I mean,
I was telling Bleeding Edge, Jeff and Andrew this. There's a group on Facebook. It's just your average MCU fan base group, and I have literally lost track of how many people have posted the question about, wait, how are Thanos and Star Fox brothers? He doesn't look like him. And I'm just sitting there going, oh my God. After like the umpteenth time someone has asked this, I'm like, there's Wikipedia for a reason, people. Just how many people have asked this? It's getting ridiculous.
But the problem with that theory, though, which is why I don't think they're ever going to make Thanos a deviant, because the deviants don't look like Thanos either.
No.
The deviants are like reptilian creatures.
Look like dragons.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of how they handled the deviants in this. They made them so it's kind of like what they tried to do with Dark Phoenix, that those were supposed to be scrolls.
They were, but Marvel or Disney said, we're taking.
Yeah, and then they changed them into, there's this other kind of alien that's briefly mentioned in the Dark Phoenix book that can shapeshift, and those of us who have read the book going, no, we know they can't.
But how bad did Arishem look? He looked awesome.
Yeah, they did do good on that.
I think we can all agree after seeing that final scene of Arishem poking his head into the Earth's atmosphere, we're all sitting there going, okay, you can do Galactus now. Go full Galactus. We're fine with this. You've proven you can make it look badass.
That sense of scale, just when not Eternal, I'm sorry, the Celestial is coming from like the Earth, and like you see the hands, and like those things are freaking huge. The sense of scale of that being like was just like, because there is a few shots later on, like after it's been like frozen and stuff, where like you can see on the horizon like one of the fingers, and it's just like, whoa, like you really get a sense of like how big that creature is. So I love how they did that. That moment where Arishem did appear at the end and kind of just like picks him out. I literally got goosebumps. I felt like in awe and slightly like, I know it's a movie, but like here's some. I know it's a movie, but I felt like scared for them in a way. Like, and I did not. I've never really felt that for any MCU character. Like just the like oh, like we're out of our depth here. Like that. Like it's like we're like the characters are like ants compared to him. So I was just like, I love that whole sense of scale thing. So I'm excited to see if they ever do Galactus. I hope they do Galactus like the same, if not better.
Yeah, most definitely, Andrew. I think that if they do Galactus, I would hope it would be somewhat similar. But so where are we at?
Speaking of doo-doo, Jeff, what?
It's my turn. It's my last pick. Obviously, it's Venom 2, and I don't really think I've already pretty much covered why. I mean, it wasn't as good. It was worse than the Eternals. There really wasn't much to it that was good for me as far as like my experience with the film. I mean, I don't see that changing. I don't know when I'm going to watch Venom 2 again, but probably not anytime soon.
I feel so bad that they ruined that movie from the way y'all are talking about it.
Well, we could be.
I really hate the fact that they ruined that character like that.
You haven't seen it yet, so I mean, who knows? Maybe you might like it.
I just want to know, like, what was Andy Serkis thinking the entire time he was making that movie?
No
like,
kidding.
What was his like thought process of like, we're gonna do this and it's gonna land and they're gonna nail the landing and it's gonna stick and be great. I would just be like on the side, like I don't know, Mr. Serkis, maybe we should storyboard this a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean. I feel bad for you, Jeff, that we're beaten up on like Venom 2 the way that we have been. But I mean, I've
seen the trailers and stuff. I mean, I've got an idea.
Well, so I mean, do we have anybody left besides me that hasn't done their final pick?
Well, I mentioned on last week's show, my final pick was Black Widow, actually, because while I think Eternals was a worse movie, Black Widow was a bigger disappointment because we've been waiting so long for this character to get a movie, and I honestly feel they really botched it. So bigger letdown, definitely. Eternals didn't know enough about the characters to get excited for it. So, but yeah, did anyone else have any other?
I think we're pretty much done. Did we finish the ranking, guys?
Yeah,
I think so.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alexis, we can do plugs.
All right. Jeff B., why don't you go ahead and give us your plugs first?
You just got me. I have no plug except I'm Jeff B. I'm glad to be here.
That's all he needs. That's all he needs.
I like that. I'm Jeff B.
All right. Gunnar, you have another show to talk about?
Yeah, wideopenmic.net. That is where you can find all my stuff. And there's a bunch of other podcasts on there that are great that I am part of or not on the main side of. So, yeah, man, look it up, everything there.
I've been listening to some Snap podcasts here lately.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. We'll have to have you on sometime, Jeff. Great.
I'll connect you guys.
I've been listening.
I'll say likewise. Let me know if you need more people for the show.
And Andrew, we'll talk Star Wars sometime.
I love Star Wars. Oh, actually, I have a Star Wars podcast I do with one of my friends. Once every 2 weeks. We have it on YouTube. It's called My Star Wars Show. That's really what it's called. We just gave our like hot takes. We just did our episode on our hot takes for Star Wars of where it can go now that the Skywalker saga is over, where they can steer the ship, so to say. I also just recently, this past week, I wrote an article for GNN. We're celebrating Miss Pac-Man's 40th anniversary, 40 years since that came out. Yeah, a long time ago. And there you go.
Fabulous.
Send me that link, Andrew, and I'll drop it in the description.
All right, I'll do that. And they're actually releasing like 40th anniversary edition like cabinets, arcade cabinets and stuff. Like the table one, the one where you look down and stuff, and like the single arcade. Wow. It's really cool. It's pretty cool stuff. And yeah, that's about it. Those two things I can think of. So there you go.
Hey, real quick, what do y'all think about the Boba Fett?
Oh,
show?
I'm loving it.
Are y'all loving it? I like it. I think it's awesome.
I'm a little so-so. Episode 3?
Yeah.
I'm a little so-so on it. I'm still trying to figure out where the story's going to go because it kind of just feels like we're kind of just half of the show is flashbacks and the other half is like what's going on right now.
Negativity anyone is showing the second Boba Fett rides that Rancor, it's going to be all like forgetting. Everything else is forgotten when Boba Fett's riding the Rancor like a.
He's ready to too, man. He was ready.
Gunnar, I was dying though when Danny Trejo's explaining about how they're great pets and everything, and I'm just like, so wait, the Rancor is basically the space pit bull.
The imprint and everything. Gunnar, real quick, what did you think about that weird Power Rangers moped slow chase?
Oh my god! Those stupid bikes.
They're so slow. They're so slow.
I felt like Austin Powers. Do you remember when? That's what I thought of because it's going so slow. I don't like those characters. Although I heard that the girl is supposed to be. Do you know who Arden Lynn is? She was in a Sega, not even Sega Genesis, a Sega game called, PlayStation, first PlayStation, called Master of Terakasi. It was like a fighting game.
Oh, I do remember. Yeah, they reference it in Solo also. Yeah.
Yes, they do. So I don't know. People are speculating, but she has a name and it's not Arden Lynn. So that would be cool if it was her, but I just think that's some.
I died at the end of the chase though when the Major Domo ended up in plowing into a fruit cart. I'm like, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have hit all the cliches.
I just want to say manure.
It reminds me of that scene from Wayne's World. It's like, what do you do? It's like, we're stacking all these watermelons over here. Oh, so you're selling watermelons? Nope, we're just supposed to be stacking these watermelons.
Glass window from here to here.
You got to wonder if this is going to have a payoff of some kind. That's all I could think of when he hit the freaking fruit carts. But yeah, no, I am loving Book of Boba Fett. It's fun.
You know, Dave Filoni has so much cred in my book that he can do anything.
Yeah,
he's not let me down at all.
Mm-hmm.
Even those early Clone Wars, those first season, which was still great. Man, going back to that whole Point Rain, landing on Point Rain arc that they had. Oh, that's just beautiful. Watching it now, it's just beautiful, and that's season 1. So I love Clone Wars.
I haven't seen Clone Wars since like they first put it on Netflix like a decade ago. So I'm overdue for a rewatch on that.
Did you not watch the new season, the last couple seasons?
I have not. I got when it came out, I was really busy with other stuff.
Season 7 was awesome.
They were both, the last 2 seasons were great.
Yeah.
I'm halfway
Forgive
through.
me, I haven't watched it.
Oh, you know what? That's good because now you get to experience and see how great it was.
I held off on watching it because the Clone Wars movie that came out, the CGI one, I hated it. I really, really did not like that movie. The one where they have to save Jabba the Hutt's son.
Uh-huh.
I was disappointed that neither of the twins were stinky. I wanted to see.
when you could see them coming around the corner the first time, like on the being lifted up, I thought for sure it was going to be the son or the nephew, or I forget the guy's name, but yeah,
Zero.
That's
Zero? Yeah, I thought it was going to be Zero too.
Zero's dead. Remember, Cy Snoodles. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert.
It's all good.
Oh, okay.
But no, I wrote an article years ago comparing that movie to the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars, and I said there's no competition. Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars is massively better than what we got with that movie. But then when the series came out, I was less inclined to watch it because of how much I disliked that movie.
So
and I just never got into it.
The movie were the first 3 episodes of the show, maybe even the first 4 episodes, cut into a movie. So, I mean, if you look at it like that, they grew so much. There was an arc that they did later on with Darth Maul, when Darth Maul finally came back. They did an arc, and they cut those into a movie as well. Like, and I saw it in a theater. It was great, and that was so much better. It was so much better than the Clone Wars movie. Now, when you look at the Clone Wars movie as just an early episode of the series, it's especially because the series wasn't done in order. So the series kind of bounced around a little. So especially when you kind of throw in some of the episodes that go before it. So I've watched it. Last time I watched Clone Wars, I did it in chronological order. And it made those, for that movie, a little more palatable because you realize, wow, like these early episodes, not that they weren't bad. I think at the beginning, I liked the Genndy Tartakovsky stuff better.
Oh, yeah.
Once they hit that landing on Point Rain, there's like 4 or 5 episode arc that they did in a row where they went back to Geonosis. They took that and they went in stride and they never looked back. So I think it was a little learning curve, and especially with that movie. But honestly, it is worth every second to watch. And it's only 22 minutes. So if you don't like that episode, the next one's probably going to be better.
I do need to watch it. I'm tired of, people making fun of me for the fact that I don't know exactly who Admiral Thrawn is.
What?
Oh, wow.
See what I mean? Okay, seriously though, again, Comic-Con vendor, you have no idea how hard it is to stay up to date with all the fandoms that people are talking about at these shows. I have so.
Now, wasn't Admiral Thrawn on Rebels? Isn't that Rebels?
Yes, he's originally from the MCU.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
he was like 30 years old.
All I know about Rebels is Sabine because a girlfriend of mine cosplayed as her and actually handmade her armor from scratch.
Oh, nice.
Cool. She did great work on it. All right, Mr. Bleeding Edge, you want to do your plugs real quick before I get to mine?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for coming on to wrap up the ranking. I'm sorry that we didn't have Arch back, but and thank you, Alexis, for jumping on and taking over the moderation duties. I really appreciate it.
Happy to do it.
Did a great job. Excellent job.
Yeah, it was a good job. Great job.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. All right, then I guess I got to do my plugs here. I am the owner and operator of Honeysuckle Rose Creations, where fashion meets fandom at the intersection of geek and chic. Thank you, Jeff. This is my Etsy store. We also got a shop on Handmade at Amazon. We are the purveyors of geek-themed jewelry that is upcycled from old game pieces. As you can see there, we've got pieces made from Monopoly and Clue tokens, Scrabble tiles, dice, dominoes, Jenga pieces. The list goes on. We're Comic-Con frequenters. We do have a couple of tables already purchased for the 2022 season. We're going to be doing Planet Comic-Con here in Kansas City. That's our home show. We never miss it. We're going to be doing Fan Expo St. Louis. This was recently, it was formerly Wizard World St. Louis. Wizard World was bought out by Fan Expo. So this is a show that we have done before, but not with the new owners. We're looking at a couple of other shows. We're going to be doing the Lexington Comic and Toy Show. This is our first year doing that. Really excited. I've been wanting to work that show for years. So glad to be finally going to that. And we are going to be at the Smallville Comic-Con in Huntsville, Kansas. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Huntsville, Kansas actually designated itself officially as Smallville from the DC universe. So they have the honor of saying they are the official Smallville Con. Really looking forward to that. As always, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter. Our Instagram page is still down. I've mentioned this on the previous shows. We got hacked over the holiday season, and I mean, like, my data got chopped up and served on an all-you-can-steal buffet. So my Instagram page got nuked. We are in the process of trying to get it restarted. Unfortunately, probably just going to have to start a brand new page here. But I will get that underway before we start the convention season. And I will have the links up and ready to go, because those who come across us at the Comic-Cons, we take pictures of all the cosplayers and put them up on our Instagram. Love to have you guys come in and tag yourselves and share the photos. And of course, I'm also on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. Unfortunately, the show I was supposed to do this week got canceled, but we are going to be doing a roundtable discussion of the new Scream movie. That's going to be on the 18th. Looking forward to that, because we also have Dorian Price coming back. He is a local film director that I am friends with, specializing in the horror genre, and he is really excited to come in and talk Scream. We had him on for the Candyman discussion.
Oh, I met Dorian. I remember Dorian. Yeah.
Yeah, he brought a lot to that. He's a really great guy, so I love hearing what he has to say. He's a bigger movie nerd than I am, which it's kind of scary sometimes. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing some Oscar bait shows here pretty soon. Mark and I have been trying to do more shows actually discussing the films that get nominated for the awards. So then when those start trending, we can actually jump in and say, oh, hey, we discussed that. Check out our show. So I know we're going to be looking at Belfast, Come On, and Passing. I think we're going to be discussing those at either the end of January or the beginning of February, somewhere along that. So you can find us on Facebook, Twitter. We got tons of other shows as well. Be sure to check us out.
I saw Scream last night, and I loved it so much.
What did you see last night?
Scream. I loved it so much.
I'm catching. Okay, quick question. I've seen the first two Screams more times than I can count. It has been ages since I saw Scream 3, and I haven't seen Scream 4. Do I need to see those before I go see Scream 5?
There's one character from Scream 4 that has a halfway decent role. If you didn't pay attention, you might not have even noticed. So okay. No, I don't think so. I don't think you need to. No.
All right.
I saw you guys were also. I saw Mark and I forgot some other fella. I don't know. They're doing the review of season 4 of Cobra Kai, and I'm a huge Cobra Kai fan, so I've been meaning to watch their review. So right now, when you mentioned like all the stuff you cover, I'm like, that's right. I need to watch that Cobra Kai review they did. So
the guys are always talking about Cobra Kai. They also just did a review of the 355, in which I think Robert Winfrey wanted to put a bullet in his head from how bad that movie was.
Wow.
Which movie?
355.
The 355.
Oh.
Yeah. But I just love watching Robert suffer, so I'm fine with that.
All right, well, let's get out of here, folks. Peace out, everybody. MCU's Bleeding Edge. Thank you, Alexis.
Okay. Remember now, we're not here to judge anybody. We want to handle this with love, right? You want to tell him how his drug abuse has hurt you, maybe hurt himself. Okay, Harold, what time did you tell him to be here?
5 o'clock, but he's always late.
No, he'll be here. In 3, 2, 1.